I'm so excited because we have our speaker here. Oh my goodness, Kelly Keefe. Okay, so whilst you're upgrading, I'm going to introduce Kelly. So, Kelly is a Reiki master teacher, spiritual guide, and identity coach. For over 15 years, she has walked the path and lit the way simultaneously. I want to just tell you what that means. It means you don't have to be perfectly healed before you start helping people, right? She has walked the path and lit the way simultaneously, bridging sacred lineages and the science of the mind to help you heal, shift, and live your calling. And for the next kind of 20 minutes, she's going to be training you on 3 things that are keeping you from living your destiny. Kelly, how are you today? It's great to be with you.
Great to be here. Thank you so much. How we doing?
We're
Hello,
doing
ladies.
great. It's an amazing audience today. There's so much engagement and energy and drive to be in business, but
Mm.
do it in a way that is aligned with our dominant feminine energy versus all the other stuff out there. So I'd love to hand the stage to you for the next 15 minutes and let you do your thing.
Sounds good, girl. Thanks so much.
Yay.
Yes. Hello, beautiful humans. I love that piece of building a business, but in a feminine way. And for me, that coincides so much with living in alignment with our destiny. As is mentioned, thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome. As it was mentioned, I have been doing this work for 15 years, growing alongside it and starting I'm going to close the chat here. I'm seeing all the comments happening. Starting with simply Reiki sessions out in the world. And it continuing as I said yes to the mission that was on my heart and following the breadcrumbs. The heart space has continued to grow over the last 10 years to us now serving a global community in the spaces of energy work, learning Reiki, transformational coaching, retreats around the world, truly thriving in doing the work of God, of helping people to be able to thrive in their highest alignment, remember who they are. And so it is possible for us to follow the call in our heart, which I call the destiny frequency, and thrive doing it. However, as Rose mentioned, it takes more than just the desire. There's pieces of strategy. And also, what I find almost most important is identity within here. And so today I'm going to take us through a path of working with clients around the world all the time. There's really 3 blocks that we can kind of put this down into of if we address these and shift, we will be in flow with creating an abundance and wealthy are different, abundant, wealthy, fulfilling life. So if we're ready, please feel free. Any comments, any questions, throw them in the chat. We'll return back to them. I really want to pour in as much into you in this short period of time, so we're going to jump in. If you're ready, go ahead, just put a yes or a one, and we're gonna go right in. Bet. So if you have pen and paper there and you're taking notes, which I really invite you to, I'm gonna invite you to go ahead and draw a triangle. We're gonna kind of play with this concept of the shape of the triangle through this conversation. These 3 pillars, if you will. Okay, and on the bottom left, let's go ahead within this triangle that we just drew, and let's write down identity. So often, when we find ourselves not knowing where to go or bumping up against the same blocks again and again, we're hitting the piece of an incongruent identity, meaning the version of ourselves that we're being today, we're trying to create a result that needs to be different. Okay. I say this with love. If you want to have something different than you have today, you have to be someone different. It's literally impossible to have something different being the same version of yourself. Okay. And hear me out. This is not for us to play small. This is for us to catapult ourselves into being the version of ourselves that has these pieces of life that we truly desire. So, under this corner of identity on our triangle, I'm going to invite you to write down 3 words: be, do, have. Now, again, my intent for anyone who knows me of when we go into these master classes and work with me, we're going into work here. Okay, so I'm going to pour in as much as I can in you, and then you can always set up to have a conversation deeper or go into the identity lock-in blueprint to take this work further. So be, do, have. This is a back and forth model for us to begin to explore, okay, what do I currently have in my life? And this isn't just one area. We can look at 360 of our lives. What do I currently have? What am I doing in my day-to-day life? Who am I being? Now this is pretty much quantum leaping broken down for everyone here, okay? If we want to have something different, a different result in our business, okay? We want to go from, clients here and there to a steady six figures. We're not going to be able to have that being the version of ourselves that we are. And so I invite you, as we're tuning into this version of ourselves of we have something different, asking yourself, what is that version of yourself? What would she be doing? Maybe she is signing up for different programs. Maybe she is taking more client calls. Maybe she's putting herself out there. Asking yourself, maybe she's going to yoga. Like what are some things that she would be doing when you imagine the day-to-day life of that version of yourselves? And most importantly, who is she being? Is she being more confident? Is she being bold? Is she being discerning? And us breaking this down, this is one of my favorite, most sobering ways for us to start to look at how can we bring quantum leap into our lives beginning today. Again, that's my MO. I'm here. I know a lot of you I'm just meeting, but I love you. I see you and I want you thriving. And to be able to move from this piece, if you take one thing from the entire day, and I know you're getting so much and you're going to leave us so much more because it's incredible, but if you were to take one thing, be do have will change your life. And by looking at what do I want to have? What would this version be? And here's the best part. Pick one thing from your list of what that version of you would be doing that you don't do today and start doing it. Immediately by adding one thing of that version of you that you would be doing, you are now starting to make the identities congruent. That version of yourself, you are now beginning to align and walk with further. Therefore, literally, reality can begin to grow forward. Okay, so we find ourselves beginning to move into this identity piece of becoming the version of ourselves that has the life that we want, serving the people we desire, having the business that is there. And as we begin to walk this, we're still going to come up against the second piece, which brings us to the other side of the triangle. My invitation on that right corner of the triangle, go ahead and write down belief system. So we can continue to find ourselves doing the things, beginning to be the version of ourselves. But we're still going to get to have this experience of working with the mind and our belief system. Now, I'm going to guess if we're here in this space, a lot of us have an idea of affirmations and work with affirmations on some level. Anyone here ever work with affirmations through and through and still be like, why aren't they working? Why am I not seeing the results? Like, what is this? Right? Yeah. So the affirmations are fantastic for starting to bring the conscious mind towards where we want to focus. But we're missing a big piece. And this is my mama bear energy can come of how many teachings are out there in the world of manifesting and this and that without bringing in the actual neuroscience that needs to be here. A gentle reminder, my loves. Our subconscious mind runs up to 90% of our day-to-day life. So as we're doing our affirmations and we're bringing conscious and bringing strategy and this and that, if we're not addressing the roommates that are hanging out in the subconscious mind that are actually at the switchboard, we're only going to receive so much momentum until we find ourselves repeating the loop or finding ourselves banging our head against the wall and talking poorly to ourselves, and then we kind of slow down the momentum. These subconscious beliefs are blocking you from your destiny, babe. Okay? And it's not your fault. Our subconscious mind got programmed from ages 0 to 11. Okay? And it's all within the pieces of how we experience the world began to tell us who we are, what's our role in the world, and how do we fit in to everything. And so, in some ways, we're just like 11-year-olds running around in big bodies. And so, these patterns that gets repeated, the pieces of why can't I break through this, or man, I noticed these affirmations aren't working. Here's your grace pass. It's not your fault. But once we do know something, it is your responsibility to be able to do something with it. And what a gift that we have so many tools and modalities and professionals. I tell people, you don't have to work with me. We'll get you results, but I'm not for everyone. I don't have a soul contract with everyone, but there's so many other amazing professionals as well that can support. And let's get really clear of what are the subconscious beliefs that are running the show, and let's really bring them to the conscious mind and heal them and rewrite them so that way we can be flowing in a congruent way. These limiting beliefs aren't something to just, oh, I'm just aware of them and now let me just move on. They run our show, and it's not your fault. If there's a piece where consciously you're saying, I want a six-figure business, I want a six-figure business, I want a six-figure business, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I can see it. But then within the subconscious mind, there's that part that says, it's not safe to succeed, or it's not safe to be seen, or I'm going to be all alone, or insert whatever those programs are that often we're not even aware are happening. What's literally at play is these parts within your inner world are battling. And I'm really taking time to break down what's happening because as humans, once we can have more of an understanding why we do what we do and what's happening in our inner world, we're more empowered. We can say, oh, that's what's happening. And then we can begin to do something with it. So when we're looking at things that are keeping us from living our destiny, which you were made by design, whatever it is that is in your heart to build, oh my gosh, it's literally, it has been written in the stars. And so we get to work with this piece of how do we become that version? How do we start to explore and bring to the conscious and rewrite all of the non-truths that are at play, that are trying to keep you from living your most authentic truth that is made by design for abundance and wealth and fulfillment. And as we bring these pieces together, it brings us to the top of our triangle here, which is energy, frequency, nervous system. As we hold more and become more of our authentic self, many of us, our nervous system is not trained yet. Our nervous system is not trained to be able to hold this new identity. Our nervous system and the beliefs that are at play are kind of in cahoots with each other. And so, us shifting into a new energy field that will allow ourselves to be in alignment and sustain is at play. My invitation, just a moment, placing your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your belly, and just taking a really nice deep breath in and letting it go. And again, a deep breath in. Open the mouth, let it go with a sigh. And one more, deep breath in. Open the mouth, let it go. And just observe with these 3 breaths alone, how much might have just shifted and not being aware of how much you were not just regulated, your nervous system was not regulated. You were not grounded. And I'm not everyone. I'm not, like just exploring 3 deep breaths sends a signal to the whole body and to the nervous system. Oh, it's safe to relax now. It's safe to be present. And so allowing ourselves to continue to move in our space of how can we learn to shift into these identities, but most important, create safety in the body to know we can be here. I can ground in this. I can hold this. This is sustainable. And these tools are all needed in order for us to be able to fulfill our destiny. So, my invitation is to keep this triangle around, or even just cutting out a triangle and say, putting it on your mirror to remind you of, these 3 pieces and beginning to allow yourself to lean towards it. And most importantly, bringing yourself back to implementing even just one action from your do list under be, do, have to allow yourself to be more of that version. And I can guarantee after 15 years of this work, with last 6 years most deep in the neuroscience and supporting hundreds of women in radically transforming their lives in 8 to 12 weeks, I can guarantee, which is bold in these times of world, and it's on and it's recorded, y'all. That's how confident I am on recording. I can guarantee if you begin to implement these pieces, you will see a shift. And I look forward to hearing from you. Message me on Instagram, send me an email. I want to hear, I want to celebrate with you. I want you to win. So thank you for receiving these. Again, I'm here to serve you. You win, I win. We all win together. So, please take this, allow yourself to implement and let me know, your wins to celebrate with you.
Oh, so amazing. Can we give Kelly some love in the chat? And also, I know that you have a very generous gift for I love these events because it's just like a massive treasure trove. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is these are your like actual courses, actual things that people normally pay for, and you're just gifting them. So, can you share what your free gift is for our audience? And we're going to drop it here in the chat. We're going to drop it on the Facebook Live.
Yes. So I'm providing you all the identity lock-in blueprint. This is going to walk you through, you're so very welcome, everyone. I love you all dearly. It's going to support you in walking through how to be able to really get clear of what are your personal blocks within the identity. Who is it that you're really wanting to be? What is in the way? And creating your own 30-day plan to begin shifting and growing and changing. So by going through this, you're going to be able to know where are you not feeling safe? What are the beliefs that you want to work on? Where are you needing to really build for yourself for over these next 30 days to be able to say, pardon my French, holy shit, I'm a completely different person. Okay. So be able to go through this, go through the guide. And again, feel free, once you go through it, we can set up a call, go through it deeper, and just transform away. I'm so glad you guys received value. Thank you so much for receiving it.
Thanks for sharing it. Oh my goodness. I'm absolutely amazing, Kelly. Grab the free gift. I see the chat is lighting up in gratitude to you, Kelly, and everything that you shared. Make sure you grab her free gift and actually implement this. Kelly, I'd love to have you back. This is absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much.
Privilege and an honor. Thanks for creating the space, girl.